So today we're going to be talking about metabolism and heart health. Super interesting topic. They're so interconnected, but maybe we don't necessarily know what metabolism is or the things that we can add or modify to help support it and also help support our hearts. Go ahead and share in the poll. I know sleep was a little stunted today, but you do what you can when you can. Alrighty, so looks like we have kind of a distribution of what our interests are. So nutrition, activity, awesome, getting sleep. So all topics that we have a lot of ideas to share today. And if you have any ideas that you'd like to share in the chat, then absolutely feel free to. I think one of the greatest parts about um, workshops like this is sharing and learning from each other. Alrighty, so what is our metabolism? Metabolism is basically a sum of all of the chemical reactions that occur in your body. So it's how well your body breaks down food for energy and how it uses the nutrients to keep all of your processes running smoothly. Healthy metabolism is described as insulin sensitive. So, what that means is your body is responsive to insulin. The cells open up, let in blood sugar to be used for energy. A healthy metabolism also means that your hormones are well balanced, and that includes ones that control appetite and converting our food to energy. And a healthy metabolism also means that we have healthy organ functioning too. So all of our processes are running smoothly. So, what about when metabolism starts to work less optimally? Typically, here we see insulin resistance. So now that means that the body is not responding to insulin and the cells are not opening up to let blood sugar in to be used as energy. And so this excess of blood sugar can lead to damage of the cardiovascular system. It can damage your heart, your blood vessels, and affect your blood. And in turn, that can lead to increased risk for really serious health conditions like heart disease, but also type 2 diabetes, stroke, and other issues as well. There are a few markers that can indicate metabolic issues. So this includes having high blood pressure. This can add stress onto the heart, and it can also cause mechanical damage to the walls of your blood vessels. Also, it can include having high blood sugar, which can cause inflammation throughout the body and cause organ damage. Having high levels of triglycerides, so blood lipid levels, that can damage blood vessels as well and also lead to atherosclerosis. That's the hardening of arteries, and we see that often in heart disease. And lastly, it can also mean having low HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol. And it acts like a cleanup crew. So it picks up excess fat that's in the blood. So having low levels of that can indicate metabolic issues. But one great way to raise your HDL cholesterol is living a healthy lifestyle, but also concentrating on nutrition. So eating lots of fiber, we'll talk about that next. Choosing the foods that you eat can be really impactful in improving your heart health. We typically eat 3 to 5 times a day, every day. And so that means that there are plenty of opportunities to impact our health through food. You can raise HDL cholesterol by incorporating lots of fiber and complex carbs, vegetables, fruits. But fiber in particular is probably the number one area where you might want to start adding for nutrition. So soluble fiber is a type of fiber that forms a gel during digestion, and that helps to lower cholesterol, lower blood sugar absorption. And you can find soluble fiber in oats, beans, chia seeds, flax seeds, fruits and vegetables. And insoluble fiber, this doesn't break down. And because it's still intact, that kind of it serves as like a block to blood sugar absorption. So blood sugar absorption occurs more slowly. It supports insulin sensitivity in that way. And you can find insoluble fiber in whole grains like brown rice, whole wheat products like pastas and breads, and vegetables and fruits as well. Then we have lean proteins, and of course, we need those for muscle repair, and our heart is a muscle, but we also use it for energy. And proteins form the enzymes that facilitate all of the reactions in our metabolism. Prioritizing plant-based protein sources are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So beans, lentils, tofu, these also contain fiber as well as a ton of micronutrients. So all of these are super heart healthy. For animal source protein, that includes fish, skinless poultry. For red meat, cuts that are labeled as loin, choice, or select. And also foods like egg whites, low or non-fat dairy, those are all great sources of lean protein. Healthy fats are also imperative to heart health and also support healthy hormone functioning. They are components of all of the cell membranes that we have as well. So getting in healthy fats is important. And you probably have heard of omega-3 fatty acids, which are heart healthy, but also anti-inflammatory, which is really cool. So we see that in salmons, flaxseed, chia seed. For healthy fats, prioritize getting them through food like nuts and seeds and avocado. For cooking oils, heart healthy options include olive, avocado, and canola oil. And then finally, we have micronutrients like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, which, as we mentioned, we all need for metabolic processes to run smoothly. They also help reduce inflammation and support overall health. And the foods that are going to give you the most micronutrients are your vegetables and fruits, but look for really dark leafy greens like kale and spinach. And fruits like berries are super high in antioxidants, and they also have a ton of fiber. So plenty of different ideas to start with. So now you know some different foods that can help with heart health, but what does this actually look like in practice? Using the balanced plate method, this one is by the American Heart Association, breaks down a balanced plate into a really easy system. So you're starting by filling your plate halfway with vegetables. 1/4 of it is reserved for protein. 1/4 of it is reserved for whole grains and complex carbs. But if you are not up to half of your plate in vegetables yet, don't worry, you can work up to that over time. Jumping super high pretty quick can be a little challenging. So feel free to go slow and add bit by bit. As for cooking, some heart healthy methods include water-based cooking. So that's boiling, steaming, or even using your microwave. Lean cooking options that use less fat include grilling, baking, sauteing, stir fries. And as another tip, you can measure out the oil that you're using beforehand so you know exactly what you're putting in. Then, to help with blood pressure control, you can reduce sodium. This can be done by holding off on seasoning until the very end of your cooking. Another way to boost extra flavor in your meals is to add herbs and spices and garlic. And the great thing here is they have a concentrated dose of micronutrients that you're adding to your plate too. And lastly, if you'd like to add some brightness to your meal, you can add a little boost of flavor by using acids like lemon or vinegar. So the balanced plate method really highlights whole food nutrition, whole food eating patterns. But eating in that way doesn't have to be time consuming and it doesn't have to be expensive. And so I recommend using convenient options. So getting something that's pre-washed or pre-cut, frozen, canned, dry, jarred. For those options, look for things that have little or no added salt, sugar, and fat. And it really doesn't have to be super complicated just because it's frozen, just because it comes from a can that still counts as a vegetable. So that's good to know. Next, add veggies and fruits where you can. So maybe a half plate of broccoli at dinner is not appealing. You can kind of augment that by adding in fruits and vegetables to your snacks throughout the day. And so we're looking at your overall eating pattern, and that can be a helpful way than just trying to ensure that every single meal looks a certain way. But another thing you can do is keep really convenient, easy to grab options in the front and center of your fridge so you don't overlook them, like apples, carrots. Then for whole grains, if you're not used to the flavors of whole grains, then start by swapping in for one meal. You might even transition with flavors by adding some quinoa to your white rice or doing half brown rice, half white rice. There's also whole grain breads and pastas. So just try something out. And then my favorite tip is I just learned called dinosaur time. And this is a super easy, very efficient way to get in your leafy green vegetables. And you might even start with a very convenient pre-washed bag of salad. And all you have to do is grab a couple handfuls and eat them before you sit down for dinner. It's very time efficient. You don't have to spend any brain power trying to think of a dish. And if you have small children, that can be a fun challenge to trick them into eating more greens. Next, we have movement. So aerobic and cardio activities are going to be the ones that help to strengthen your heart and your cardiovascular system. The recommendation is to aim for 150 minutes a week and keeping it at a moderate intensity level. This helps to boost your endurance, strengthen your heart, improve your immune system, and it also helps to improve the risk factors of heart disease by lowering blood pressure, cholesterol, and regulating blood glucose levels. But if you don't like exercising because it's hard, you get out of breath, I totally get that. The great thing is that you can use the talk test to gauge what intensity you're at. So if you're able to comfortably have a conversation and your heart rate is up a little bit, then that means you're at a moderate intensity. If you are getting out of breath, then that is just an opportunity to slow down and take it a little bit easier. Anything that you do is better than doing nothing. And what counts as cardio is absolutely anything that gets your heart rate up. So you can do something at a higher intensity like running, cycling, or HIIT workouts. But you could also change one of your elevator rides to taking a flight of stairs. It can also be walking around like you're late to something. So yeah, hustling everywhere you go. You might set a timer to remind you to get up every hour for a couple minutes of a movement break. Maybe it's doing your chores energetically, but it can also be finding something that's fun for you, dancing to your favorite song, making movement feel like play with kids. Whatever it is, it's helpful if it's easy, and it's helpful if it's something that you can stick to doing every single day. Next, we have movement 2.0, which is getting stronger. And this is kind of a sneaky way to boost your metabolism and your heart health because your body, when it gets stronger, just uses more energy while at rest. Strengthening activities also increase insulin sensitivity, and these effects can last even after you're done working out. And studies show that it can help to regulate your blood sugar levels up to 48 hours after a training session. And that's wild. You're at rest and it's still helpful. Anything that you do that puts stress on your muscles helps to strengthen it. So that can be weightlifting, it can be doing body weight exercises, but it can also be carrying heavy groceries or when you pick something off the ground, squatting instead of bending over at the waist. You can use those mini movement breaks also to help you get stronger. This poster here is from the Darby website, and it has a lot of ideas and illustrations for exercises and challenges for all levels. There's plenty of ideas. The recommendation is to get at least two sessions of strengthening activities a week. It can be an hour-long workout. If you only have time for 30 minutes, then that's great. If you only have time for a couple of movement breaks throughout the day, whatever it is that you do, as long as you can do it consistently, then that is the goal. Next, stress management for heart health. It is important, especially alongside nutrition and movement. Stress management can help to lower blood pressure and decrease inflammation. And feeling less levels of stress can also increase your motivation to do other healthy habits. So, some things that you can do. First of all, slow down. Does anyone ever take a moment for an intentional breath throughout the day? Well, looks like we have one or two. Cool. So I invite you to take with us a collective breath. And if this is something that you like to try out, just kind of notice in your posture right now where you're feeling tension. Try to release that. Release tension in your jaw. Exhale all your air. And then on your next inhale, inhale deep, inhale slow, and direct all the air to the bottom of your stomach and feeling through your chest. And then exhale really slow, starting from your chest, down through your ribs, and exhaling all the air from the bottom of your belly. And then your next inhale, regular, easy inhale. And notice, if you try that out, how it feels now as compared to a few seconds ago before you took that really deep breath. And maybe after your meetings today, you take another deep breath. Some other ideas, brain dumping. So writing everything down on a piece of paper, get all of those jumbled thoughts out of your brain. Or you can start your day on a positive note by gratitude journaling. Now we again have movement. So this is movement 3.0. Activity directly lowers stress. It directly improves mental health. And so that is quite a powerful medicine. And lastly, fill your cup up by spending time with friends and with family. Make time for events and hobbies that are really enjoyable for you. Filling up yourself will crowd out space from stress and help relieve any of that tension. Lastly, our lifestyle area is improving restful sleep. This helps repair your body, lower inflammation. It helps your metabolism also run optimally. And it helps to decrease stress, restore your mind. And as we just mentioned, when we feel less stress, we can make healthier decisions. Again, we have movement. So now we're at movement 4.0. It helps with sleep. It uses up energy. Just save any activities that are really intense for earlier in the day. Then we have lighting. So if you can get outside during the day in natural sunlight, at night, dim the lights to help with melatonin production and help you fall asleep. Also, watching what you eat is impactful as well. So, avoiding heavy meals less than 2 hours before bed and avoiding simple carbs, caffeine, and alcohol before bedtime because those can all interfere with sleep. And then add in relaxation. This is just another area to sneak in some stress management, gentle breathing, a cup of herbal tea, just something to help you calm down. So now we have many tips. If you have any tips, feel free to share that in the chat too, and start thinking about how to put that into action. So we can do that with an implementation intention where you phrase it as, when this happens, I will do this. So when I finish lunch, I'll go on a 5-minute walk, and it helps define a cue when to start and also exactly what it is you want to do. So regardless of if you want to try something big or try something small, whatever it is, make it easy enough to do and collect those wins because that's motivating to continue on. So making sure that they're realistic, you can attach them on to habits you're already doing. That can be really easy. Plan around challenges that you think might come up. And whatever it is, figure out the activities that you can do at 100% effort, 50%, or bare minimum, because sometimes we have tough days and this allows us to still show up. Whatever it is, focus on showing up. That will get you much further than perfection. It's consistency that really helps to make those meaningful health changes. So my challenge to you is to commit to one small action that you can do by the end of today to support your heart, to support your health. If you want to share that, feel free in the chat. This is a Wellness in Action series. So we will meet again on April 16th from 12 to 12:30 just to talk about ideas and how everything has gone. So if you don't have any questions, I thank you all for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.